Greetings from Deal. This is poison making video number 6. So I just want to cover poisons at this point. Now that we've completed all these quests, we have Grandmaster, Assassin, Seal, and Sketch quests. I'm going to show how we can get from 275 to 300 skill level. I'm also going to show how we can recycle these advanced poison vials. I'm going to show how we can use the Rogue Master Sketch to make the same recipes that we would use for the individual sketches. So let's just give an example of wasted flesh, one we made in our last video. So we made a wasted flesh using this vein rot sketch, which I don't have in my inventory. That's on purpose. Plague mites, deep water inks, celestial suspension, drop of mercury, and advanced poison vials. So I have all of these in a coffin vial. I'm just going to hit combine, and I got a wasted flesh. So now, when you look up wasted flesh again, we have a vein rot sketch and a master sketch recipe. So the master sketch recipe is now added to our recipe book, as we didn't know that before. So again, any recipe that calls for a vein rot sketch or the remiss sketch or any of the other smaller sketches can also be used using the master sketch. So now what we're going to do, first we're going to equip the best poison modifier in the game. If we're playing during the Planes of Power era, we're going to want to equip the Grandmaster Assassin Seal. This is really the best you have. I'm equipping the Peerless Pestle because it's the best one I have, just to guarantee a successful combine. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to say make all, and we're going to make 10 of these, okay? And you can see here's my poison vial, or my advanced poison vial counter, and that's going to go down. I just want you to watch. We're going to make 10 of these, okay? And that's kind of the cool thing about trade skilling in the modern era. These are auto-inventoried, and the combine is tried again. So go ahead and fill up the coffin vial, which is up here in my inventory. Fill it up with 10 of these individual charges of wasted flesh. Okay, then we're going to click. We're going to unclick Make All. So we have 17 advanced poison vials. We have 10 individual wasted flesh. We're going to hit Combine, and we have recycled our advanced poison vials here. So now we're back to the same number of advanced poison vials as we started, but now we have a 10-dose wasted flesh, which will proc wasted flesh for. This is a self buff that lasts 15 minutes. Okay, so let's try the same thing now with Dreams of Drusella. Dreams of Drusella. So we have a remiss sketch. And we have the master sketch recipe. So let's go ahead and make 10 of those. Again, that requires twilight worms, nodding blue lilies, advanced poison vials, celestial suspension, drops of mercury, and the sketch. In this case, the master sketch. Failures are okay because when we fail, we still get the advanced poison vial back. So that helps a lot. Another thing that's helping with these combines is something called salvage. Salvage is an Aaa ability, and I can show you that. So again, here are the 10 individual charges of Dreams of Drusella. We're going to combine that. We're going to get a 10-dose Dreams of Drusella, all our advanced poison vials back. And I just want to go into the Aaa abilities. We go into General. We go under, let's see, we have Salvage, which is right here. I actually can purchase, I can't purchase additional ranks of this yet, but it gives you a 25% chance to recover an item that would otherwise be lost. So this is huge. If you can recover an ingredient that would have failed, that's very, very powerful. We also have Poison Mastery, which will increase the chances of reduces the chance of failing a poison by 50% and reducing the time it takes to apply poisons by 7.5%. So the applied poison, I'm less concerned with that. I'm more concerned with that 50% reduction in failure rate. So that's big. So let's just keep going with some additional recipes that can help raise your skill. Again, all of these, they trivial at like around 322. So I'm just going to hit search recipes and see what I can make, what I have the ingredients for. There's Oozing Irritation. Oozing Irritation is a really nice dot to use during the Lucklin era. This requires fungus clumps. These drop in Fungus Grove. They also drop in the Deep. Twilight Worms, which keep coming back, those drop off Alien Men, and they drop off worms in Akebia Ruins. And really that's it. The rest of it's just store-bought stuff. Advanced Poison Vials, Celestial Suspension, and Drops of Mercury. So we're going to make 10 of those. Again, Drops of Mercury, those drop in the hole, or you can make them using Mercuric Ore, which costs like 7.5 plat, and Gnomish Spirits, which are very inexpensive. So making Drop of Mercury is kind of expensive. It's better to farm them during the Classic era and just hoard as much Drops of Mercury as you can. So this right here is Oozing Irritation, and Oozing Irritation is nice. It's a dot. We use this during the SERU fight, so I love that dot. Here's a 10-dose Rage of Incapacitation. We've made Rage of Incapacitation last time. Let's make a new one. We can make a Bite of the Shizar, and this has 2 recipes in my book. One requires a Shizar Venom Sac. This drops off Shizar in the SSRA area. And this is kind of an uncommon drop. Which is much more common are these Tainted Planar Essences. These drop in basically any planar zone during Planes of Power. This is a very, very common drop, as well as these Phosphorus Powders. Go ahead and make 10 of those. And again, you see these trivials. These are all 322. So you can just keep doing this over and over and over again. And you don't really need poison vials anymore because you're recycling them. But what you do need are Drops of Mercury and Celestial Suspension. So these will be the costly parts of the recipe. They're made from store-bought ingredients. You can farm the ingredients, but it's probably a more efficient use of your time just to buy them. Again, the Tainted Planar Essence, that's a very common drop. Phosphorus Powder, that's a very, very common drop in the Plane of Fire. And Phosphorus Powder also drops in, I want to say, in Guck. I believe it drops in Lower Guck off any of the undead Froglugs. Let's look for some others here. Mental Implosion. Mental Implosion requires Dust of Decay and Smashed War Grubs. Smashed War Grubs, those drop in, I want to say not Bastion of Thunder or Halls of Honor. I believe they drop wherever Rallis Zek is, but I don't have those Smashed War Grubs. Let's look for Mental Implosion. There's Mental Implosion. There you go. So Mental Implosion requires Nardu, Autumn Crocus, and those are the 2 that are required for that. So let's go ahead and make all those. So again, 10-dose Mental Implosion. We're going to make all of that. And one thing I want to demonstrate is how to apply these poisons. So we have DPS poisons, and then we have utility poisons. So I'll go ahead and give an example here. But basically, you just keep doing this over and over again until you get to level 300. It actually doesn't take that long at all. Alright, so here we have a menagerie of poisons. Look at all these 10-dose poisons. Alright, now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply Rage of Incapacitation. Okay, just right-click it. The cool thing about the utility and DPS poisons are they persist after you've zoned. Okay, and they appear as a buff on the buff bar. Okay, and then let's go ahead and apply that with Oozing Irritation. Okay, so we have Sluggish Poison, right, which is a utility poison, and then we have Corruption Poison, which is a DPS poison. All right, so we have 2 poisons that will last for 15 minutes, and they'll last on this buff bar, and they'll proc with every attack. And how they proc depends on your dexterity, heroic dexterity, as well as your AA assignments. but they do proc quite often. So Rage of Incapacitation, we covered that lowers hate, and that decreases dexterity. So this is an aggro reducer predominantly. Okay, Oozing Irritation is a dot, so this actually does damage. These two, DPS and utility, will stack with an applied poison. So say you have a susceptible essence that lowers resists. So this is a single-use poison that you apply on your blade, which is a sort of all or nothing. It only will apply if the mob doesn't resist and you don't zone. So this is something you apply to your knife, and it's just a single use one time. Either the mob is affected by it or the mob mitigates it. Twisting to Disorientation, this is another example of an old world applied poison, and it will stack with these other two. So you can potentially have an applied poison, a DPS poison, and a utility poison all working simultaneously. So as a rogue, you can think of all the different permutations of these three and the different zones that you're in and the different situations in which you use them. You'll definitely find utility from them. One more thing I'd like to add is that there are certain weapons that cause aggro reduction. And they'll proc aggro reduction as well, along with the sluggish poison from a utility poison, for example. So say, for example, you use this utility. Okay, this is part of the example I was mentioning earlier. I didn't have these in my inventory at the time, but this is the Jagged Time Forge blade. This drops off Inaruk in Plane of Time. It procs Assassin's Blood, which will proc a dexterity decrease and decreased aggression towards you for 1 minute. So this procs an aggro reduction. Then we have Dagger of Distraction. This drops off the Loop Pinata in a Plane of Time. And this will proc an aggro reduction. And this is Caldazar. This drops off the Curse Cycle in SSRA. This will proc an aggro reduction. And they all have different ratios. Looks like Jagged Time Forge has the best ratio on it. But as you progress, this is a Lucklin era drop. These two are Planes of Power drops. They all proc aggro reductions, and these will all stack with the aggro reduction from a DPS poison. So something to keep in mind when you're in era, when you're playing in the Lucklin era, or when you're playing in Planes of Power. This is something to keep in mind for those types of fights. So here you can see a deal applying Stiffening Ergot. You can already see on Lord Inquisitor SERU's buff bar that Rage of Incapacitation has already been applied. Stiffening Ergot resists, but if you look really closely right about here, you'll see Wasted Flesh right there. Wasted Flesh then applies. The reason why Stiffening Ergot doesn't apply is because it has a snare component, and Lord Inquisitor SERU's resistant to snare, so I couldn't slow him. But you can see two other DPS and utility poisons apply. Later, we see the Emperor SRA fight right here. You can see the benefits of Dreams of Drusella, and you can see him ping-ponging aggro back and forth. Sometimes I'm able to duck away from it using Hide. Other times I have Dreams of Drusella proc. Right here, you see Dreams of Drusella proc and keep aggro off of deal. Keep in mind, for both the SERU and Emperor fights, you need to have Bane weapons. But you can see from both of these the situations in which the rogues have to watch. A rogue has to watch DPS aggro, especially for this fight. With this particular fight, there's a tank buster, which is a de-aggro on the main tank. So then what happens is the Emperor will then switch to the next highest on his hate list. So the rogue can move himself down on the hate list by using Dreams of Drusella. It helps a lot in this fight. Well, that brings this video to a close. Just wanted to demonstrate how to make the poisons. using the Rogue Master Sketch and Seal, how to recycle the advanced poison vials, show a couple fights where we want to watch aggro and show how the poisons can be used in conjunction with one another. Hope that helps. Just keep in mind the sky's the limit. As long as you follow those same basic rules of DPS, utility, and applied poisons, you can really combine them in any permutation that you see fit. Give me a call, shoot me any criticisms, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.